Welcome to Where's Wilmington. I'm Lisa Capala, and if you live in Wilmington, or actually anywhere near Wilmington, you got to know who this guy is. This is Joe Martinello, and next to him is Emma Sears, and they are here to talk to us about the Relay for Life. 5 years Wilmington's been doing this.
5 years.
Hard to believe.
It's great. It's a community event, and it's become a staple in the town.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about when the event's going to happen and where it's going to be.
Okay, the event's on June 14th
Right.
to June 15th. So
Right.
yes, I did say June 14th and 15th. It starts at 5:30 p.m. and it runs through 6:30 a.m. the following morning.
Right.
And it's held at the Shawshene Tech in Billerica.
Excellent. That's my alma mater. And I love that you use purple. That's Shawshene Tech's color. I'm sure that's a coincidence. Now, how long have you been running it at the Tech? I think just a couple of years now, right?
It's our second year there.
Yeah. And what's different about the Tech compared to having it at Wilmington at the old high school?
There are some advantages that we've seen from last year. Just in the setup, there's flow between the activities that are going on. It does afford for some benefits to having it there, and it's nice. The Tech's been extremely supportive to us with running the event there. So
Excellent. So what made you, Joe, decide to stay on with the team? Because I know you had a lot going on the first time I met you. I think you've come on the show now 3 years, I think.
Yep.
So when I first met you, you were really in the thick of it. You had a young child at the time, a lot going on. What makes you keep at it?
I have a second child too now.
Wow, congratulations, that's great.
So it's, you know, my commitment to the American Cancer Society, it's a couple of things. There's the American Cancer Society is a great organization. They've done a lot over the 100 years. It's their 100th anniversary this year. And they've done a lot over the 100 years in the movement with helping the fight against cancer.
Right.
Between research, between services and programs that they offer. I've also seen, from a professional perspective, I've seen them make changes as an organization to try to see economies of scale as well, in order to have a better use of the funds that are raised by communities. So that's one thing. And in addition to that, it's a community event, and I grew up in Wilmington.
Right.
It's a great town, and this is another thing that brings the community together, and it's around such a worthy cause. So.
Excellent. What benefit do Wilmington residents, and all the folks really that you're raising this money for, but specifically Wilmington, what benefit is it for Wilmington residents to have the Relay for Life be a part of our community services?
So nearby we have seminars that the American Cancer Society hosts. So there's the Look Good, Feel Better program. So women that are struggling with chemotherapy and going through their treatments can attend a seminar and get information on how to do their makeup, how to put a wig on if they choose to do that, how to embrace the fact that they have cancer.
Yes, and my mom went through that. She's a survivor. She's currently going to be going through treatment again, but she's doing great. We went through that program, and it was amazing, really, to go through, you know, learning how to feel good as you're getting better. It's such a really important component to that when you're going through treatment. So that's one of the excellent benefits.
Yeah, and beyond that, there's the 800 number, so I'm going to have to look.
Okay.
It's 800-227-2345, and then
Okay.
there's cancer.org. So you can go out to both of those. You can go out to the website or call if you need assistance with information related to cancer. In addition to that, MGH, which is a hospital that is near to all of us, they have a patient navigator program within the MGH system, and you can reach out to somebody in the patient navigator program that the American Cancer Society funds, and they can help you navigate through the process of dealing with health care and various different things that you have to deal with on a regular basis when...
Right, especially if you're going through it without a large family. I was lucky enough to have a big family. If you don't have a good support system, it's nice to know that there are people there that you can vent some of your concerns with, talk about the things that are frightening, maybe talk about some of the healthcare concerns you have. That's really a good part of the program. What else does the American Cancer Society do?
In addition to that, they have other programs such as the Road to Recovery. So if you can't get to your treatment, you can contact to see if you're eligible for the Road to Recovery. And then beyond our community, there's the Hope Lodge in Boston. So we don't qualify because of our proximity to Boston.
Right.
But if you lived outside of the city and you couldn't get there, so 50 miles, I believe it is, from the Hope Lodge, it allows families who are going through treatment a location where they can go and stay.
Excellent.
That's a huge benefit.
Absolutely, absolutely. What do you really want folks to know about the Relay for Life? Because to be honest, it's run in other communities. I think folks have pretty much heard about it by now. They know what it is. What do you really want people to know about the event, if you could just say one thing or two?
One or two?
I ask you all the tough questions.
Yeah, one or two. Yeah, that's pretty difficult. What I would want them to know is it's an opportunity to bring your family together around this topic. and it allows family members, old and young, to discuss their feelings and emotions around this topic.
Okay.
And I really enjoy that facet of it. I think it's a benefit to families in our community to have this venue and vehicle for them to talk about
Okay.
it. And in the same time, we get to fundraise on behalf of the American Cancer Society and help them continue with their movement in the fight against cancer and the services that they offer.
Right. And although what we're talking about is very serious, the event itself is actually fun,
It is.
right?
It
So
is.
Emma, you've been a participant in this event. How many times?
This is my 5th year.
So every year we've done it, you've been there. Now you do fundraising as well as participating in the event,
do,
right?
yep.
Okay, tell me a little bit about the fun things you've done while you were there. I know they have different laps that are sponsored by different things. Tell me about that.
Yep, they have I think after 12 o'clock, they have a lap for every hour or every half hour. And they're different themes, and they're actually really fun. Some of them are like Mardi Gras or birthday or
Crazy
pajama.
Hat, I think, was
Crazy
one of
Hat,
them, right?
Yep. And then they also have the Relay Fun Zone, which is for really any age, and there's bouncy houses and games that you can do. So it's really a great event for anyone.
Excellent. And you had a lot of fun there, right?
I did, yeah.
Now, how many people are on your team? And let's explain to folks how the teams work.
This year I have about 10 people on my team.
That's good.
And I had about the same last year, but I really just kind of spread the word out in school, and whoever wants to join can join, you know, because everybody is welcome, and just really get the word out.
Now, the reason why it's good that you have 10 people on your team is because one of you has to be walking the track the entire time.
Right.
So the more people you have, the more relaxing and fun you can have in
Right.
between the walking, right? That's how it works.
Yeah.
Okay. Is your team mostly people that you go to school with, or
Yeah,
family too?
It's mostly students on my team.
Okay. So what motivated you to get involved with this program? Why is it so important to you?
Well, I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma in 2009, which is actually the first year we had the relay. And so the relay kind of gives me like that opportunity to give back, you know, because so many people did so much for me when I was sick, so relay is like that chance for me to do something.
So the year that you were diagnosed, you were in the relay. Did that happen before? Were you in the relay before you were diagnosed? Or in other words, was it coincidental, or did you do it on purpose?
I was diagnosed in February, and we had the first relay in May.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that must have been really interesting for you to be going through that, your treatments, your diagnosis, all of that jazz, and then doing the relay too.
It was,
How was
yeah.
that for you?
It was interesting. Some of
I
it's kind of
bet.
a blur.
Right, of course, because you got a lot of other things on your mind at that
Right,
time.
but it was just amazing to see the community come out, and
Do you think
and
it
yeah.
gave you more hope? Like maybe it gave you a
Yeah.
sense that everything was going to be okay because you had so many people behind you raising you up?
absolutely, especially the survivor lap we have, to see all those purple shirts out there,
Right.
and that you're not the only one in town who has gone through this was really
Right.
neat
Right,
to
you have
see.
a sense of camaraderie, strength in numbers. Joe, can you explain that lap that she's talking about to us?
Yeah, the event begins at 5:30, and we have a welcome ceremony. So we welcome everyone to the event. And we typically have a survivor speak at the very beginning of the event, and they talk about their experience with cancer. And then shortly after that, we kick the event off. The walking actually begins with the survivors.
Right.
So
It's very powerful. Not as I hate to use this word, but not as depressing as you might think. It's really more heartwarming and uplifting. You really feel raised up by it when you're there. You really do.
Yeah,
I hope
and it's
folks get to see it. It's amazing.
It's just the survivors. So we let them get to halfway around, and then their caregivers actually join them for the remaining piece of the lap, which is
Wow.
heartwarming as well. So if you're watching somebody and you see them embrace their family that's helped them through this struggle, it's amazing, and it's joyous. People are clapping for them. We're celebrating their lives.
Right. How is it different for you now, Emma, that you've been in remission for, is it 4 years? 5 years?
This July will be 4 years.
Yeah. How do you feel now looking at the relay based on how you felt then, now that you're okay, so to speak? Is it different for you?
It is. I mean, it's crazy to think that so much time has gone by.
Right.
You know, and we have this every year, and it's great that this comes back every year. It's also, amazing to see all the survivors that come out to the relay
Excellent.
and come together, and the community recognizes them and, you know, the amazing things that they've done.
Right, and I would think as a young lady that you are, it must be nice for other young survivors to have you there to see that kids can survive this too. Most of us think of cancer, I think, as kind of an adult disease. I know a lot of children have it, but to see you and other kids your age out there doing that, it's got to be very powerful for people, and I want to thank you for doing that. We do appreciate you very much, and we're glad you're still here and that you're okay, and we hope that continues.
Yeah.
Now, after you do the lab, what happens after that?
Well, the activities begin. So as Emma alluded to earlier, the fun zone opens up and
Right.
people are experiencing that. Theme labs start. We have entertainment and activities, and Tom will speak to that in the second segment.
Right?
And in addition to the entertainment and activities, we have other ceremonies. And I think that's what you're alluding to.
I am, because my favorite one is the
You're
luminaria.
you're
That's my
probing
favorite.
me, yeah. So around 8:45, we have a ceremony called the luminaria ceremony. And you spoke about this in the past, how it's a poignant ceremony.
Right.
And I love that word because it describes it perfectly. It's a point where we come and reflect all that people have gone through related to cancer. So if you've lost a loved one, it's a ceremony where you can reflect upon that loved one. So we have these luminaria bags, which
Right.
you have
Which
one
we
on your
have
desk.
Right here.
And we have candles inside of those, and they're lit up around the track. And we sell those for donations as well, so people can decorate them in honor of a loved one. And then we have a ceremony where we speak to a caregiver about their experience related to whether they lost somebody or whether somebody's still surviving cancer. They talk about their experience and from their perspective. And then we all take a lap together as an entire group. And that's extremely powerful to see everybody walking together in a slow fashion, almost hand in hand. It's very sweet.
And you guys have raised $611,000 in 5 years?
Yeah, we're over
That's
that
a lot
now.
of cabbage.
Yeah.
That's really good. I'm glad to hear that. What's new this year that's different? I know you've got a new program called Feel Good Collection. Tell us about that real quick.
Yeah, so the Feel Good Collection is an opportunity for people to give back in addition to, or opposed to, however you want to look at it, cash donations. So if you have goods around your house, Q-tips, if you have non-perishable foods, we're going to collect those on behalf of the American Cancer Society as a community and give them back to the American Cancer Society for their
Wow.
programs.
So
that's
there are
done.
lots of ways you can get involved. So maybe you're not going to be around on June 14th, or maybe you don't have the time to do the entire event. But there are lots of ways people can get involved. If we want to get involved, how do we get in touch with you to do it?
WilmingtonRFL.com. So we purchased our own domain name, so it's
Nice.
WilmingtonRFL.com. And you can go to the website to get further information related to our relay.
Okay, so before we go on to the next segment where we have Tom Barry and Chuck DiPasquale, I wanted to know if there's anything that you would like the community to know in closing before we go to the second half. Anything you want from us or need from us, now is your chance to put it out there to the universe.
The only thing we want is more participation. So some people, participation comes in so many different forms. It could be a donation, so you may see our teams around town canning, so that might be a way to participate. Participation comes in the way of being on a team, being a team captain, similar to Emma. It could even be being a speaker at the event itself. And just attending the day of. So we invite people, the public, we invite everyone to come the day of the event to experience the event. So you don't need to fundraise to participate in this event.
That's an excellent point.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both for being with us. And Joe, thank you for all the hard work you're doing. I know you're helping lots of folks survive, and I know you can't do it by yourself, but I
Yeah.
do want to thank you personally
Thank you
for all
very
the
much.
time that you're given. Stay right here. We're going to be back with more from Tom Barry and Chuck DiPasquale. We're talking about the Relay for Life, and this is Where's Wilmington. Stay tuned.
Hands can do incredible things. Now they can even help save a life with hands-only CPR. If you see an adult suddenly collapse, just call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of the chest until help arrives. Learn more at handsonlycpr.org.
Hello, welcome back to Where's Wilmington. I'm Lisa Capalla, and if you've just joined us, we are talking to the folks from the Relay for Life. First part of our program, we had Joe Martinello, who's the event chair, and we had Emma Sears, who is a team captain and a participant, talking a little bit about it. But now we're going to shift our focus a little bit, and we are talking to Tom Barry, who is communications person for the Relay for Life. And next to him, everybody knows this guy, Chuck DiPasquale from Rocco's. Everybody knows you around the
Yes,
town. Great to have you both here.
Thanks, Lisa.
You're welcome. I'm gonna start with you, Tom. Tell us a little bit about what the guy who runs communications for the Relay for Life does. What does that really mean?
Okay. Well, there's a number of things that we do, and over the years, it's been we've built up a lot of different ways to communicate, not just with people outside of Relay, but we communicate internally through our website. That's a big thing where we
Nice.
contribute to the website, update people on what's going on with the events. Social media has been big this year, so I manage a lot of the Facebook page, the posts and stuff that go up on there. Joe and I and a couple other people contribute to the social media channels we have to inform people, but also keep the conversations going. It's a great way to kind of spark conversations
Right.
between team captains and people who are involved with the relay, sharing ideas, sharing
So it's like
events.
a clearinghouse, where a one-stop shop where everybody can go for whatever they need. That's
Absolutely.
excellent.
Yep, yep.
So I understand that you are instrumental in bringing Joe into the Relay for Life family. Do you remember that, and can you tell
I
us a
feel
little
like it was
about
forever ago.
Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Absolutely. When I was in high school, I started relay, I want to say it was my sophomore or junior year, chasing a girl, to be completely honest.
It's fine.
And I went to the Burlington Relay for Life and instantly fell in love with the atmosphere, the event. It was just such a moving experience that I was like, I need to get involved with this.
Right.
I reached out to Joe. He was my track coach at the time, asking for a donation. And if you know Joe, he's not just going to give you a donation, he's going to want
Right.
to know more. And he came with me that year and had the same type of experience I did, where he said, this is amazing, but we need to do more than just,
Right.
keep coming to Burlington. Let's see if we can bring this to Wilmington.
Excellent.
So he and I met with a few people, and I was preparing to go off to college. So, but knowing Joe, that knowing who he was, it wasn't something that was just going to happen in Wilmington. It was going to happen in a big
You knew
way.
he was going to carry the torch as soon as you told him about it.
Absolutely.
Right.
He was going to run with it and
Excellent.
burn bright. So it was definitely really a
Well, it's
cool
good to have
experience.
someone like that on your team, so that, are you in college now?
I'm graduated now. So
Yay, congratulations,
Yeah, thank
that's
you.
great. But I'm sure you were very busy at the time and had a lot going on, so knowing that somebody else can carry the ball for you, so to speak, must have been a great relief for you.
Definitely.
That's
It
excellent.
was exciting to know it was going to happen, and that I wouldn't have to worry about, being partly involved and not being able to give my full commitment.
Right.
Because, Joe was, not only did he do so much himself, but he found the right people to help him and really bring this event to become what it is today.
Excellent. And I understand for you, Chuck, that part of the reason why you're involved with the Relay for Life has to do with Emma.
Yes.
So let's talk about how Emma got you involved with the program.
I've known Emma since she's been born, and it was a sad thing that she got cancer, and
Of course.
I watched her go through that whole thing.
And she was very little at the time,
She
so
was
that's
very
really
little, yes.
heartbreaking when you see
but,
that.
But cancer doesn't discriminate. There's no age limit. Everybody, there's no degrees of separation. Everybody knows somebody who has
true.
cancer, and especially for me, that my mother was a cancer survivor. I have a lot of friends that are breast cancer survivors. I have a
Right.
girl that works for me right now that is going through breast cancer. So cancer doesn't discriminate, and if I can get involved in doing this and donating some food, that's the least I can do.
And not just some food, some really yummy food, too.
Well, I hope so.
Yes.
But, but as for the relay, yes, Emma, I've known Emma since she was born, and, it was very heartfelt. My kids have done the relay every year. They've stayed over. My wife has stayed over, and really, raised some money,
Do you think being involved with the relay as someone who hasn't had cancer, and I assume neither of you have, makes you feel like you've got some power over the illness? Because for me, when my mom got diagnosed, I kind of felt like, what could I do? Yes, I could bring her to the appointments, I could do
Right.
things, but I really felt a sense of powerlessness over it.
Right.
Either of you want to speak to that?
Well, for me, again, there's no discrimination. I have my wife's, cousin, at a very young age, got, leukemia. So there's no discrimination. There's no age limit. There's, everybody could get it anywhere. So whatever I can do to help, I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to give some pasta and to help,
Right, and to be on television and sit here and do this, which is grueling, I know, but no, to do what you can for the
Right.
cause. How do you feel, Tom, about the question that I asked Chuck about
I feel the
helping,
same way,
being
yeah.
powerful? I think it's powerful to be able to have something you can do.
Definitely,
You know,
absolutely.
You can't take the treatment for them. You can't do the radiation for them. But being able to physically walk and make some money, and I also think too, in my mom's situation, when she first got sick, certain treatments weren't available that are now.
Yeah.
And I know that's because of what you
Right.
guys have
Yeah.
done. I know that, and you know that too.
Yeah.
So it's not just about finding a cure. That's a nice idea, but it's about making the survivors more comfortable and making more treatment available. So that gives you a sense of power that you can do something.
Absolutely.
You know? So let's change our focus a little bit to some more happy stuff if we can. Tell us a little bit about what events are going to be in the fun zone that I know that Emma talked a little bit about, because I know there's a dunk tank there, and that's always been my favorite.
Yeah, that's always been a really cool thing happening at the event every year. The fun zone's full of face painting, and they do some activities for the kids as balloon animals, things like that, where you can go and it's a fun area where there's always something interesting happening.
Right.
I know they're taking this year. There's talks about really doing more throughout the entire event at the fun zone, having some more competitions and
Right.
some more stuff for not just the younger kids, but as the later hours come, providing other things where
Now, I didn't ask this before, so I probably shouldn't ask you now, but I will anyway. Are you guys having karaoke there or music there this time? I know you did
Yep.
before. Oh, excellent.
Absolutely,
That is so
absolutely.
fun. You got to try that if you get to the event.
Well, one of the best things is we have a great relationship with the Jessica Parati Band.
Right.
And
They're
they come
awesome,
every
too.
year. They
Yeah,
are. They're
they were
absolutely
really good.
great. They've been great supporters of the event through the years, and they'll be there. Other entertainment, we have Steve Bjork and his comedy
right,
friends will
the
be
comedy
there.
tent. I
Yeah,
forgot about that.
yep.
Now that happens after hours.
Yeah, it's a
so
little later, but it's
that's a
always
good
it's
thing.
clean. It's always
Right.
a good, they do a great job of keeping it PG related
Yeah.
to the event, and
Yeah.
I love Steve. He's a funny guy.
He
He's-
is excellent,
he-
and I know
he's
they've
got some
had
good friends.
like sack races and all
Yep.
kinds of different stuff that's going on simultaneously while everybody's walking around the field. So if you're getting the impression, if you've never been, that this is all kind of about heavy stuff, some of it is, but a lot of it is really just people kind of hanging out, having fun, being silly,
Yeah.
doing the walk, and going through the process.
Yeah, I've always thought of the relay event itself. It's a celebration for all the hard work that goes into Relay for Life and the American Cancer Society. Everything everybody does, all the money they raise, the events they put on. This event, this night, is just a big celebration to show everybody, this is what we've accomplished. This is a community coming together and really, enjoying the fact and celebrating. It's not, they're not just working towards one cause or working together, and it's now provided so many different
Right.
things for different people.
And it's
in-
good to
in different
celebrate
places.
too. We can't be working every second. It's
Right.
nice to take a little break
Right.
now and then, right?
Absolutely.
What about it being at the Tech now? Because I talked to Joe and Emma a little bit about that, about it being at the Tech versus the old high school. Did you like it better at the high school or the Tech, or what do you think?
Well, I'm a Wilmington. I've grown up in Wilmington my whole life,
Right.
and the high school was great. But honestly, last year I had a blast at the Tech. It was a different atmosphere. You walked in. I love the entranceway. It's a very beautiful walkway coming in. Functionality-wise, as someone behind the scenes, it was a lot easier for getting people around, making sure we knew where everybody was.
Right.
But everything was a little closer there, which is what made a huge difference. And that's when we talk about this being a celebration. There's so much going on. It was nice to have it there because it's a little more condensed, I guess is the best way to put it.
And one of the things from a FEMA perspective is you have the indoor facilities, which we like a lot. So that's a really good thing to have there too. And I know the Tech is part of Wilmington too. So
Absolutely.
it's kind of nice to have that tie-in as well. How do you think it'll be when the new high school comes?
I'm not sure actually. I mean, that's a tough thing to say because it's not there yet. But
Right.
I'm sure we will be ready to put on a big event, and hopefully, by the time that's done, that project's done.
Yeah.
This event will be even bigger than it is
Right.
now.
Hopefully
so.
there'll be enough room to fit you all.
Yeah.
That'll be great. Anything you would like our viewers to know, or anything you'd like to say to them to try to spur them to get involved?
Yeah, I mean, I think from my perspective, it's just something that people need to think about. Like Chuck was saying, cancer has no limits. If you think for 2 seconds about your own life and the people you know, cancer's affected you in some way.
And it may affect you personally. Look at Emma's
Right.
story, and I'm not wishing that on anybody,
Right.
certainly, but look at Emma's story. She
Right.
wasn't sick, got into the relay and then went through the whole process. It can happen to anyone, anytime.
Right.
You know.
And it's good to know that, relay isn't just about finding a cure for cancer, because it's a very difficult thing to do.
And there's so many strains and so much we need to learn.
Absolutely.
You know?
There's just so many programs that the relay does. I advise anybody who's even thinking about it to come to our website, do a little research, look at not just what we're doing in Wilmington and the people involved. We got a lot of different organizations and businesses in town that help out, but educate yourself not just on the Wilmington Relay, but the cause itself and all the different things that are done to help cancer survivors and cancer patients, because then it really starts to hit home and you start to realize that this is something that we can do and be proactive about.
Right. And also, too, you never know, someone sitting next to you could be going through something. You never know who you're helping.
Yeah,
you know?
my father's a skin cancer survivor. And Joe and I had known each other for a while. My dad helped coach with the track team for the longest time. And it was a good example of Joe had no clue up until we had gone to a Relay for Life event together that my father was a survivor of cancer.
Wow.
And it's one of those things that it's everywhere and it makes an impact on everyone's life, but it really, it's close to home for a lot of people.
And Chuck, what about as a business owner, trying to get businesses involved?
Well, as a business owner, I
people?
think businesses in town should get involved. Again, it's something that's local. There's no discrimination, to this. As a business owner in town, I think people should get involved.
Well, you know what's really good too? The American Cancer Society has their hand in it. So you know that it's a good cause, that the money is going to be spent wisely and well, and that Wilmington residents benefit directly from this by the things that Joe talked about all the different programs, the hotlines, all of that.
Absolutely.
So at least as a business owner, you don't have to worry that your funds are maybe going to be
going somewhere else.
given to somewhere that you wouldn't want, let's just
But
say
I don't
that.
mind giving, the pasta dinner to the people in town that are survivors of this. This disease that they've
Really
survived.
kind of you to do that.
Yeah,
I
no,
want
I-
to thank you both for your involvement, and
thank
thank
you,
you so
Lisa.
much for being on our
Thank you for
show.
having
And Tom and I had
So-
talked about this
Oh, yeah,
before.
go right ahead, sure.
But Joe's mother, Yolanda, needs a big shout out.
Oh, cool.
She is a big,
All
big
right,
part.
Yolanda.
Yes,
We are
she's a
shouting
big
out to
part of this
you. We're
whole
thanking
thing,
you
and-
for all your help,
Yes,
too.
yeah,
And thank you
so-
to your wife and your family and
Thank
your
you.
family, too. So, June 14th, we know where you guys will be,
Right.
right?
Absolutely.
That's going to be at the Tech. It's the Relay for Life. Starts at 5:30 p.m. Open to the public, but if you want more information, the website again is?
WilmingtonRFL.com.
Right, excellent. Thank you so much for being with us. I appreciate you watching the show today. I hope that whatever you're going through, you can take some time, if you can, to support this cause if you feel so inclined. Maybe get some research or just help a friend. You don't have to be involved with the Relay for Life to help with this cause. There are many different things you can do. So take good care of each other. Thanks so much for watching. And the next time somebody asks you, where's Wilmington, you tell them right here and right here on WCTV. We'll see you next time.